Are you searching for a volunteer research experience position? Do you have any clue how to go about it? Are you confused now that everything is online and you can't actually go and ask people? If you answer yes to any of those questions, this video is for you. This video will be separated into 3 parts. The first one, your interest. The second one, where to apply. Third, how to apply. Hi everyone! In this video, we'll be talking about how to land a volunteer research experience gig. Before continuing, there's a lot of ways you can gain research experience. In this video, I will be focusing on how to gain research experience by volunteering as a research assistant in a lab. However, you could always gain research experience by actually getting a paid research assistant gig, or even enrolling into a class, a research-oriented class. So without further ado, let's go on. First of all, what you need to do is find your research interest. Now, how can you find your research interest? Think about previous class that you took or previous research that you did that actually interested you or sparked some kind of interest in you. That's where you're going to focus on. Now, depending on which faculty you are at or what kind of studies you're doing, there'll be multiple choice or fewer choice. Why do you need to find your research interest? This is really simple. If you find what you're interested in, everything afterwards will be way more easy for you. Your interest will guide you towards which researchers you want to work along with and which lab are more oriented towards your choice. Your interest will convey your passion for the subject, which will improve your chance of actually getting into a lab. It also makes every job that the lab will give you a lot easier. Obviously, when you first start in the lab, you'll be assigned menial or much more boring tasks, such as data entry. However, you won't be doing data entry for all the time you're in the lab. So if you convey that you're hardworking and you're passionate about what you're doing, or you're hardworking and you're precise and you're a good worker, you'll be bumped to other tasks that are a lot more interesting and are a lot more research oriented. For example, if you end up doing a literature review where you're going to actually need to search and read a lot of articles on a specific subject, do you want it to be a subject that you're actually interested in, or do you want it to be a subject that you have no interest whatsoever? That's the thing. It's way easier if you choose something that you actually like. Once you've found your research interest, you need to go and search for lab opportunities. So where can you find opportunities to apply as volunteer? The first thing you should do is go to your university website or even a research center website and find the list of researchers, find a list of faculty members and current professors that are doing research. You'll probably find it either ways, but that's the easiest part. Once you've found that list, you need to go through professors and check their research interests and their ongoing research. Once you find some professors that are doing research that you're interested in, check out their website. The first thing you need to do, first, find your interests. Then search for professors or a professor or any researchers that is currently doing studies that are in your area of interest. Once you finish that, you're going to go to professor or researcher's website. On their website, you're going to skim around. I would highly suggest that if you actually decide to apply, to really focus more on the ongoing studies or current studies tab, as well as the opportunities or volunteer tab. If you decide that you actually want to apply to this particular lab, what you need to do, go on the volunteer tab and read what they expect out of their volunteer. Be sure that the time requirement and the task are things that you're able to do or willing to learn. Mainly, you don't want to waste their time and you don't want to waste your time going through the whole process. A little asterisk here, please do check out their hours. Sometimes it's 10 hours a week that you need to volunteer, sometimes it's way less, like 5 hours. And also check out how much time they expect a volunteer to stay in the lab. This will demonstrate your own professionalism and as well as how you present yourself for future position. Again, you need to think, a lot of us are applying for volunteer research opportunities to be able to gain recommendation letters for grad school. So think it through. Now, once you've find the website, read through their volunteer requirement, what you need to do is send an email. Under volunteer tab or opportunities tab, you'll probably get an email. If you do not have an email, you email the lab coordinator and you CC the professors. If there's any other email address on the website under the volunteer opportunity tab, obviously enter them and send it to them too. How to apply? As said previously, you'll need to send an email. However, it's not only an email. A lot of time they'll ask you to attach a cover letter. You'll also need to send a CV and an official transcript. I highly suggest, if you have an academic CV already, send that one. If you don't, it's no biggie. A lot of people just don't at this point as an undergrad. Now, how do you email professors about opportunities that are currently available for you as a volunteer? Your email should be personalized and different for each lab. Before continuing, if there is a procedure on how to apply through their website, their lab website, do that.
Here is a lab that is requesting a special procedure to apply for a volunteer position. So what you need to do is read the volunteer paragraph here, where you can clearly see what they expect out of their volunteer, such as 1 year of commitment, 5 hours per week, and some tasks that volunteers are expected to perform. Then, if you read further along, you can see the specific requirement for the application procedure for volunteer research assistant. Here you can clearly see that they are asking you to fill a volunteer application form and to send this form along with your CV and unofficial transcript to the following email address. Now, when you're filling the volunteer application form, do take in mind that some labs do not have volunteer application form, and a lot of time those are unique form depending on the lab. You're going to need to fill it to the best of your ability and read it thoroughly. I am saying that you needed to read it thoroughly because a lot of time they can ask you further requirement to apply, such as here you can clearly see that they're asking you to send all the information to another email address as well as the previous one, and they're asking you for a specific subject line, which is KASC Lab Volunteer Application.
Otherwise, you can always follow the small steps I have outlined here. The first one is, how do you write your email? The email should be short, simple, without grammatical error, and quick to read. Make it short and simple. Also, don't mass email any professors. Why? They won't answer. It's unpersonalized. They'll expect someone maybe else to answer. It's not going to be that important. I highly suggest you follow this template. So first, introduce yourself, state why you're writing. Then you need a sentence or two about how your research interests align with their current ongoing project, and ask about opportunities that are currently available. Don't forget, you can always include a cover letter that I highly suggest because it makes you stand out of the crowd. One way to formulate that cover letter would be separated into 3 parts. The first part, your interests, so develop a little bit more on how their current ongoing projects are aligned with your academic/research interests. The second part would be your research experience, or your relevant experience, more or less. If you're going to apply for a child development lab, you can add any experience that you have with children, such as tutoring or camp counselor. If you don't have any relevant research experience, you can always simply state classes that are relevant to research. And the last part would be your future goals. So are you going to grad school? Why do you want to volunteer there, etc. There's other ways to search for research opportunities rather than just going on the university website and searching through their faculty/researchers page. A good way to see if your school has their own research opportunities would be to talk directly to your advisor. Talk to them and see if they know some opportunities, some professors that are currently seeking volunteers. Obviously, you could also talk to your professors, although I'm guessing it's going to be much more difficult currently. Again, think about it. Professors can be reached, and I would highly suggest to email the professors directly, particularly if there's no website or lab coordinator you can email. You need to remember that professors receive tons of email per day, and you're probably not one of their priority. So always work smart, not hard. The third one is where I gain a lot of research opportunities too. It's search for Facebook groups that your school has going on. For example, we have tons of Facebook psychology group where people do actually post research opportunities. Don't only search for a Facebook group in your own school. Try and follow other school and universities too, because researchers are not necessarily seeking volunteer from their own school. It can be other schools too.